just be a prophet, right?
He's the only one that died and came back.
Right.
For 40 days he walked this earth after his crucifixion. Nobody has done that.
So it's funny that you mentioned that, right? Because I'm Hebrew by blood.
Okay.
So I don't call him Jesus. I call him Yahushua.
Yeah.
Some people say Yeshua. Yeah. Right. That's a closer,
the Old
accurate
Testament word Joshua.
Right.
Yeshua.
It's actually So I call him Yahushua. So that's why I wanted to know Easter, right? 3 days, 3 nights. You got Friday, he gave up the ghost.
Okay.
All right. Saturday, he's in the grave, and then Sunday he rose. There's a problem with that because he said, right? He said as Jonah was in the belly of the whale, so I will spend 3 days, 3 nights in the heart of the earth. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is not 3 days, 3 nights. So where do we get that from?
Well,
based on your life.
That's the same way you get 7 days of creation.
Mm-hmm.
It's 1 day, 1,000,000 years. I have a finite mind, and God has an infinite mind.
Exactly.
And I will not know everything. So I can't tell you.
So what if I told you that the 3 days, 3 nights was actually Wednesday? Wednesday night.
I've heard it before.
Right. Wednesday, because it's a high Sabbath. That's Passover.
I can agree with that.
Because he was our lamb, right? Passover, then you got 3 days, 3 nights. He rose actually what would not be Sunday morning, but Saturday night. Have you ever heard that before?
3 o'clock on Saturday.
It would have been, Saturday night, our time.
Well, the people that I've talked to mostly think that 3 o'clock is when he died in the afternoon. And then the
right.
Split,
yeah, he gave up the 9th hour. Right. But see, when he rose, it was actually dark. You know, John 20 says it was still dark. So it wasn't Sunday morning, it was actually Saturday night because, Hebrews go sundown to sun up. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. That's our day. The Messiah was a Hebrew, right? Yeah. And if he was
Jewish?
Right.
The picture you see of him with the red hair, that probably wasn't him.
Right.
Isaiah 53 said he was nothing to be lusted after.
Exactly.
Nothing the ugliest person you know.
Exactly.
Jesus looked worse than him.
Well, it's not. It really don't mean that he was ugly. It was just he was not to be desired because of how he looked.
His arms, no woman desired his pretty teeth.
Right.
So he was probably a homely person.
Exactly. So the question I'm asking is, because it blew me away when you passed by, because I teach the Hebrew. The question I'm asking is, the image that you have with this, the cross and the what you're wearing, where do you get that image from? Like where do you like the image, with the hair and the...
Yeah. Well, a Jewish person back in the day, they talked about women having long hair, men had about shoulder length hair.
Mm-hmm.
A Jewish person is a black-haired person with a big nose.
Right.
So that's why I dyed my hair and my beard black. That's where I got the image. Now there's also a contradiction of, was Jesus impaled?
Right, yeah. I've heard that before.
So those things, if it's not a salvation issue, I won't donate you on any of it. Tell me what you think, and I'll say okay.
No, I like to ask questions because I'm a question answer, and I'm an open book, man. I don't argue.
I was raised Baptist. And I went 3 years Church of Christ, and then my mother died, and my dad married a Pentecostal woman.
Right.
So I have the mixture of that.
Right. I grew up Pentecostal holiness.
Okay.
So, but see, my question was when I asked them. It says that his feet and his hands were like burnished brass, or brass burned in the furnace. That's Revelation 1:15. Right. Daniel 10 says he saw him, and he said his hands and feet were like burnished brass. Well, that wouldn't make him what they call a Jew, because that's way darker than a Jew. So what I'm asking is, the image that we have of the Messiah, where did it come from?
Well, the question is, how do you get a Jewish woman's DNA and then God the Father's DNA? Are we trying to track it down to a DNA?
Right.
There's nobody else that's been born of God through a woman like Jesus Christ. But if you're trying to find a picture of who he is, I'll tell you when I get to heaven.
Exactly, because no one knows what he looks like. So where do we get, my question is, where do we get the long hair and the beard?
Where do we get the word Easter from? Esteros, which is a pagan god.
Ain't that something?
Where do you get the coloring of the eggs, which when they sacrifice a virgin, they run the bloods over the eggs.
Wow.
Nimrod is actually a bunny rabbit, which is a very fertile animal. That's a symbol of fertility. So actually, 280 AD, they combined the resurrection with Easter. Easter's not even a Christian word.
Wow.
Have you studied that?
Yeah, actually, I just posted on my Facebook page.
I got you.
So it's funny that we even stopped even having this conversation.
Was it Constantine?
It was actually Constantine that actually,
said there's too many holidays like our federal government has now. We're going to combine Easter and the resurrection, and y'all got to celebrate them the same day. And that's when we took up Easter. That's why I see churches, and I've talked to pastors, they get very offended. We're out here got our kids doing pagan rituals, hunting Easter eggs.
See, this is why he had me stop and talk to you. You know that, right?
They get offended by that. Even preacher friends of mine, why can't we do something that honors God? And like my Church of Christ friend says, well, I wouldn't wear a cross, or we don't use a cross because if your son committed suicide with a gun, would you want a gun around your neck?
Right.
So it's a symbol of.
But you're actually just representing him going to be executed. You're not wearing it like that, though.
What my mission of this ministry is that one person see the image of the cross, which is so powerful. That he wasn't going to church, and they decided to go to church and get saved. One person is worth that 3 days. The first year I prayed with 130 people, 10 accepted Christ on the side of the road. God outdoes our expectations.
Right.
He does.
Right. Well, I appreciate talking to you.
God bless you,
I'm Watchman Terry D. Washington. What's your name, sir?
My name is Jesus.
Yes,
It's not
sir.
about me, my friend.
That's right.
It's not about where I'm from,
Well,
who
I
I
appreciate
am.
you.
People try to give me money.
Yeah.
I close their hand and say, give it to somebody who needs it. God has provided everything on my journey. People give me water all the time, which I'm grateful for. I say, Jesus met a woman at the well. If you drink from this water, you'll thirst again. But if you drink from the water that I give you, be an everlasting spring of everlasting life. So blessed am I. Thank you for stopping, my friend.
Man, I appreciate you, man.
God bless you.